Roger Corden feels the police force's investigation into Ricardo Fergusons' murder has already been compromised. Speaking at his friend's funeral, the retired kingpin expressed the genuine belief that the bullets that night were intended for him, as he was with Fergusons at the time. He also believes that the cops failed his friend, alluding to the fact that the police did not set up roadblocks in time to stop the men. Neither do they seem to really care that the murder literally took place just feet away from the president's home, nor have the police updated the family on the status of the case. Khan also warned that in the absence of a strong state security, the nation will descend into criminal chaos, which honestly is something I never thought I'd ever hear Roger Corden say. However, within just hours of having poured his heart out, the police released a statement refuting everything he said. But I think it's funny how the police can be so quick to respond when you embarrass them, but not when you're seeking justice. The family of 30-year-old Gertrude Dayol is refuting the health ministry's claim that she died of the Rona, as they believe she died of postpartum complications. The mother of two was admitted to the GPHC maternity ward on Thursday, March the 18th. It was while at the hospital she tested positive for the Rona and was transferred to the isolation facility where she succumbed on Saturday night. However, her family says that she was healthy prior to being admitted. They believe that she developed postpartum complications and was not properly cared for by the hospital staff. The United States Department of State had a lot to say about the nation in its 2020 Human Rights Report, accusing our police and our judiciary of a number of human rights abuses. They specifically cited the case of Christopher Jones and the barbershop chairs as an arbitrary arrest, which is actually true, seeing as he had a court order stating that he could keep the chairs. Nevertheless, the cops acted like they were busting a drug kingpin. They surrounded his home, cut the power, and busted in, arresting him without any charges and taking the chairs. His was just one of several arrests of citizens they deemed unjustified. They also pointed to the police illegally shooting a civilian in a car last year and multiple delays in allowing arrestees access to their lawyers and their families. As for the judicial system, they referenced the deep public perception of corruption within the system, as well as the long remand periods people are actually subjected to. It's so bad, the State Department said, that some people end up spending longer on remand than the maximum possible sentence for the crime for which they were actually charged. Of course, they also had to mention the election debacle and the human rights violation that was. This morning, James Bond and the former head of NISL, Colvin Heath London, were charged in connection with an illegal land deal in Providence. Businessmen Jermaine Richmond and Eddie Doolall were also charged jointly to defraud NISL for several plots of land in Peters Hall on the East Bank. They were all released on $100,000 bail, while Bond was released on $150,000 bail. The brother of Joel Henry has turned himself in just a day after police released a wanted bulletin for him in connection with the murder of 68-year-old Suraj Dio Chan. According to iNews, Nkosi Henry told the police that his brother, Mark Henry, admitted to killing Dio Chan as revenge for killing his family, and that he felt good doing it. The police have since applied for permission to hold Henry beyond the stipulated 72-hour period. First it was Pagua last week, and now this week the government's Rona task force is officially cancelling all non-religious celebrations of Easter. Last week, the police made it clear that they would be shutting down any non-religious celebrations of Pagua, including the big celebration at Providence Stadium. They were also enforcing a restriction on the sale of liquor during the holiday. They are now doing it again, but this time for Easter. In a statement, the task force said churches can be open to 40% capacity, but it banned parties, limes, and wet fests. Cause, I mean seriously, what heathen celebrates a crucifixion with a wet fete? Unfortunately, the favorite Easter pastime of kite flying will be affected as well, since activities in public parks, resorts, and creeks are strictly prohibited. So they said stay at home, stay sober, and think about the significance of the day with your family and friends. But isn't that really the point of the religious holiday in the first place? One senior official at the finance ministry is dead, and 3 others injured after their vehicle crashed yesterday along the Mabura Road. The dead official has been identified as Pretty Paul Jacobin, who served as an economic and financial analyst. The identities of the other injured persons have not been confirmed. 2 of the injured persons have been admitted to the Linden Hospital, while the third, who suffered minor injuries, remains in the Mabura area. The Ministry of Finance team was in the region for the disbursement of the second round of Rona checks. It was actually the mayor of Mahdia, David Adams, who discovered the accident scene while heading home. He immediately turned around and drove the injured 3 to the Linden Hospital, some 2 hours away. While the other 2 were saved, Jacobin did not make it. If you've been following Leroy Smith's social media accounts, you'd notice that Robes and Ben has been doing random inspections of police outposts throughout the regions, sometimes even at night. The latest of which was the Freedom Hoop Station. The aim of the visits are to keep the cops on their toes, as well as get an actual feel of what is happening on the ground, which is light years better than Ramjatan, whose vision was apparently so crooked that he couldn't even see just how bad of a condition the nation's police force was in. While I can make fun of him a lot for things, I have to give Ben his props for this one simple action. Hey UNCUT News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now!